Tonight is the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting for Wednesday, December 8, 2021. After we pay respects to the flag, we're going to have a moment of silence for the victims of the horrendous events of the past week. Call to order, please.
Ready for the roll?
No, we're going to pay respects to the flag. That was my call to order, and then moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you take the roll, please?
Ferrari,
Here.
Knoll,
Here.
Payne, here. Wright,
Here.
Charles,
Here.
Curtis.
Here.
There's a quorum.
Thank you. I'd like to get an approval of the agenda, please.
I'll make a motion for the agenda as presented.
I'll second. Okay, I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Knoll. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none. Approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion for the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Knoll. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Roll call, please.
Trustee Knoll? Yes. Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Clerk Wright? Yes. Trustee Charles?
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Item number 6, public comment on items not on the agenda. This is a time where the public can speak on any item that's not on the agenda. Yes, sir. Come on up to the microphone and can't just yell.
Just yell tonight? On that voice thing.
You didn't
Kevin
agree,
Snell, resident of Oxford, live in Oxford Woods. Just wanted to make a public comment tonight to the board. I'm sure you are well aware. Just wanted to make sure it was well recognized that in the senseless tragedy this week, we had a lot of heroes in this community. Heroes from students who did the proper work, the teachers who did amazing job, school administrators that protected the students, law enforcement officers, law enforcement deputies, EMS responding personnel, fire command, as well as all the supporting and auxiliary roles of everyone in the community and the businesses that were offering support. And I just wanted to make sure that was made well aware tonight.
Thank you, Lieutenant Snell. Any other public comment not on the agenda? I'm going to make one. I want to introduce Deputy Doherty, who just stepped into the back of the room, missed out on the accolades. Deputy Doherty came in off duty on his shift day, and he told me he almost forgot to put his pants on. That's how fast members in our community responded. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other public comment? Seeing none, let's move on. Item number 7, public hearing, fiscal year 2022 community block grant funds.
I move to open the public hearing at 6:35 p.m. to discuss fiscal year 2022 community development block grant funds.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Knoll. Roll call, please.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Clerk Wright? Yes. Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Knoll? Yes. And Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Okay, fiscal year 2022 community block grant funds. Is there somebody to speak on that? Yes, ma'am.
Renee Courtwright from the Older Persons Commission. So I am here on behalf of the Meals on Wheels program that is facilitated through the First United Methodist Church here in Oxford. OPC is the production kitchen for the meals that are served to the homebound seniors in the Oxford area. And I'm very pleased that the trustees have chosen to facilitate or to oversee the cost of that for the employees that facilitate the program. And last year we provided 9,000, almost 10,000 meals to the homebound seniors in the community. We're really pleased with our longtime staff, the 2 staff members that will be, this CDBG funds will cover, and one of them has been with us for almost 18 years. Very committed to the program, and we're really pleased that this is part of your CDBG funds. So thank you for the community for their incredible support for those homebound seniors in your community. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public that wants to comment on fiscal year 2022 community development block grant issues?
I move to close the public hearing to discuss fiscal year 2022 community development block grant funds at 6:37 p.m.
I'll second.
Motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Noel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Noel. Yes. And Trustee Payne.
Okay, moving on, number 8, second reading, zoning ordinance 67A.026, schedule of uses, associated definitions, specific standards, and temporary storage. Trustee Noel, do you have any more comments on this second reading?
Yes, I do. Board members, what you see in front of you is a red line edition of this. It's gone through our attorney. He had some formalities in regards to the meaning of the amendment. I've had Carlisle Waterman, Zach Michaels go through the package to ensure that nothing was changed in regards to actual content of the zoning ordinance. So if you have no other, if there's any questions, we entertain questions. Otherwise, I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I move to adopt the amendment to Article 2, Section 2.2 definitions. Article 3, Section 3.5, A through R, Schedule of Use Regulations. Article 5, Section 5.7, Caretakers Quarters. Article 5, Section 5.8, Cement and Asphalt Mixing Plant. Article 5, Section 5.13, Community Building or Lodge Hall and Table of Contents. And the addition of Article 5, Section 5.36, Biofuel Production Facility. Article 5, Section 5.37, Farm Marketing Roadside Stand. Article 5, Section 5.38, Temporary Concrete Batch Plant. And Article 6, Section 6.27, Temporary Storage. I'd like this to be added to the Charter Township of Oxford Zoning Ordinance 67A as presented.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Noel, second by Treasurer Ferrari. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Trustee Charles.
Motion carries. All right, item number 9, Fire Department.
Good evening, board members. Tag on a little bit to what Lieutenant Stone very eloquently said before as far as thanking everyone. I personally want to reach out to the fire service aspect of it to thank all our mutual aid responding departments that responded to us in that incident that we had. We had ambulances that came from Lapeer County. We had ambulances that came from MedStar up by the Lapeer-Flint area. We had fire department ambulances that came from all over Oakland County. We had fire departments backing up those fire departments that sent people, so we pretty much mobilized the entire Oakland County through our mutual aid patch, the 3201 mutual aid and 3202 mutual aid groups, supporting each other and helping with everything. On the local level, the Legacy Center has become pretty much a drop-off, a therapy, a resting place, more importantly, a safe haven for our Oxford children to be able to go to someplace so that they can be with their friends, they can have fun, they can smile, they can get mad, they can unload. Every one of them is writing on the wall, writing some kind of a heartfelt response to what they've done. So you got close to over 400 linear feet of wall in that building that is written by just about every single student in the district, writing messages on that wall and everything. To the Christian Mills and Todd and Jordan for what they've done by opening that facility up to the community to basically anything they want, anything they need. They're making sure that the facility is there. To everybody from across the community, to across the county, to across the state of Michigan, the supplies and things that are coming in there, from food being donated from all over the place, and not just locally, I'm talking corporate-wide, from restaurant chains and everything outside the community, to Myers, which is countless supplies, art supplies, food, anything else that they've needed that's gone on in there. Different groups that will be coming into there, from the counseling to the Oakland County mental health, and the support that is going on there for the students to be able to start to recuperate, to start to heal. There's many more events that are planned in the next week or so that will be coming out and being posted for everybody to be able to attend. There's actual healing sessions for the students next Monday night, which is supposed to be having actual students that were involved in the actual shooting at Columbine, and the actual students from Sandy Hook are actually going to be there to talk to the students, to help them heal, to make them understand, to help them, I've been there, done that, work them through what to expect. Bonfire afterwards to throw all their thoughts into it to get rid of. And so it's a healing process, but again, this is going to be something that's going on for a long time here in Oxford. But I just want to thank that organization, that group, and the community that has come together to help everybody, to support them, to help us, the fire service, the police, that the community support has been to. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Item 10, Sharp Engineering. Do you have anything to report? Engineer Sharp.
Good evening, Board. Not much to report. Just a typical time of year here. The construction projects that we're working on are wrapping up. We got the safety path installed up on Dunlap Road, which pedestrians are using quite frequently every time I drive by it, that's for sure. So that was a great job by Joe and by CJ to get some of the grant money for that as well. And we got a couple residential projects. The Enclaves is going like crazy, and Westlake has been approved, so you'll see some homes starting to go up in there. Over the winter months here, you know, we continue to keep our design projects going for water and sewer. We're working on East Drainer Road to try to get that thing completed, which Jack and I need to have a little powwow with the road commission on that one. But that our intent is to build the remainder of that piece of water main from M24 down to the Tullamore development next year. We previously approved some work at the Camp Oakland pump station, which survey work has been done, and we're working on those design aspects with the county. We're investigating the location for a new well site. Obviously, water is, during summer months, we have some issues with that. We've had issues, some watering restrictions in the past, so we're looking at the locations to install a new well production facility. Jack, you know, is a real leader on this M24 extension to try to get the sewer extended up from where we left off with the MDOT project up into the Ray Road and up to the Brad Dewey area. And then lastly, yeah, the Brad Dewey, again, CJ has been involved with trying to get some grant monies for installing, you know, some potential sewers up in that area in the future to get rid of all those septics. So that's kind of where we're at. Just design stuff over the winter time, and then construction will kick off in the springtime. Any other questions?
Treasurer Ferrari.
So you'll be ready to do the safety path maintenance come spring, correct?
Yeah, we have a safety path maintenance. Again, I think we need to have a committee meeting just to kind of firm that up on, you know, what the exact project or the portions of the safety path that we want to work on. But yes, we will have that ready to go for spring of 2022, summer, whenever we want to fit it out.
Trustee Charles, you had a question?
Anything with the ARPA monies for these projects that Mr. Sharp just discussed, the report, or is still in the works?
Still in the works. We got our first check, but we haven't committed any funds other than to the design of the water. I think it was the water sewer.
Right.
The first, the allocation that we did for the design,
Right.
$100,000.
That was,
Those
yeah,
are
that
one of
was,
the wells.
that was for sewer. That was for the sewer.
For the sewer, yeah.
So at this point, just the design work on the ARPA money.
So far, yes, that's all that's been allocated so far.
Okay. Any questions, any more questions for Engineer Sharp? Seeing none, thanks, Jim.
Thank you, guys.
All right, item number 11, I've got to make a couple statements here. Number one, this candidate trustee interview and appointment process, this is to fill Bill Dunn's vacancy, and it will run until November of 2022. That's approximately 11 months, and if that position wants to be continued, it will be, it will run through an election in November of 2022 for the remaining 2 years. Number two, Sarah Racer is no longer on our interview list. There was a conflict and Sarah chose to back out. Number three, Justin Wilcox, we're going to call him on the telephone because his wife was diagnosed with COVID and he does not want to bring that in here since he's been exposed. Number four, for all of the candidates, this is specifically for you. And due to the Open Meetings Act, our attorney has put together a statement. We cannot ask you to be excluded from the meeting room when a fellow candidate is being interviewed by the board. If you as candidates would on your own accord wish to voluntarily all be out of the room when a fellow candidate is being interviewed, this would be acceptable. Please let us know what you'd like to do. So, when we call up one candidate at a time, if you would accept and wait out in the hall, I've got some chairs for everybody. That gives more leeway for people to express themselves. Number five, when we're done, we're going to take about 5 minutes with the board to deliberate for about 5 minutes to talk through, and then we'll bring all candidates in and we'll look for a motion. So with that, we're going to start with Justin on the phone because he is with his family who is ill, and we're going to get that one out of the way. And like I read in the statement, if the fellow candidates would voluntarily leave the room, that would be acceptable. Thank you. So with that, board members, in front of you are 10 questions compiled from the group of us. In the spirit of time, we want to ask each candidate as many questions as you feel necessary, and we will take the amount of time allotted to fulfill our question needs. So with that, we'll call Justin Wilcox on the phone. I'm going to start with Trustee Knoll when we start and work from right to left. Justin, this is Jack Curtis, Supervisor, Oxford Township. Some of the trustees have questions in front of them, and since I'm closest to the phone, I'm going to ask the trustee from my right to my left which question they'd like me to read, and I'll read it into the phone. So, Trustee Knoll.
Number 4, please.
Number 4. Based on the demands of your current employment, how will you invest your personal time and energy to make an effective vote on numerous issues in which you will be participating as a trustee?
Well, I'm a stay-at-home parent, so I have plenty of time to investigate and talk to the people who are involved in that situation.
Thank you. Margie?
Number 6.
Number 6. The Oxford Township Board has several committees. Based on your strengths, what committees are you interested in being appointed to serve on?
and adjust to any community to be open to join.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Number 8, please.
Number 8, what is your vision for Oxford in terms of residential, commercial, and industrial districts? Do you feel we have too much or not enough of either of these three? Why or why not?
Well, I personally like Oxford because it has a nice, well balanced. We have the industrial, we have residential, and we have beautiful farm country. And I would like to keep it that way as much as possible. That's why people move here, is for the open land. And I would like to find a balance, to make sure the balance is consistent throughout Oxford.
Okay, thank you. Clerk Wright.
Number 1.
Number 1, you are one of 8 candidates for this trustee position. What separates you from the other candidates to be appointed as an Oxford Township Board trustee?
I am very determined, and being legally blind allows me to really focus on listening to what the people and residents are asking. And that's it.
Okay, Trustee Charles.
Hi, Justin, this is Rod.
How you doing, sir?
Okay, question number 9.
Number 9, what are your feelings about permitting recreational marijuana facilities in Oxford Township? Do you feel they are good or bad for the community? Why or why not?
I know this is a very big topic lately. I think they can be good if the restrictions and requirements are met to do not grow, crazy amount of like, that's a tough topic. So, I think we should meet the criteria of the state, but have our own criteria so it doesn't become such a huge situation with the neighbors and other facilities.
Okay, thank you. My question was asked, Justin. I appreciate your time. I'm sorry for the predicament you're in. I hope that your family gets healthy and we can move on from this horrible disease. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
All right. We have the second candidate. You want to call in Ryan Austin? Thank you. I'm going to start from right to left this time with Trustee Charles asking the first question.
I'm going to be consistent. Question number 9 on our list here. What are your feelings about permitting recreational marijuana facilities in Oxford Township?
That's a good question. Being a person that doesn't use marijuana, I am pro-choice pretty much. I really, truly believe that there are good healths in it, meaning it can help people. But I am in a decision with Oxford. I really not want that in Oxford. And the reason for that is because I was born and raised here. And what I was raised about is having kids play in the streets and be able to play football, be able to play baseball. And with marijuana, using marijuana, it distorts you. So I could terribly see somebody running into a kid, somebody doing something recklessly. So I choose not to bring that into my town, where I've lived 40 years of my life.
Okay. Clerk Wright?
Yeah, Ryan, you're one of 8 candidates for the trustee position. What separates you from the other candidates to be appointed as Oxford Township trustee?
Well, I don't know a lot of the other candidates, but I will be frank with why I feel I'm a good candidate. I've been born and raised. I graduated from Oxford High School in 2000. I have a heart, a very big one. I started a business in 2003 called Birmingham Seal Coat, and all I want to do is help this community. I am very passionate in this community. I'd give anything for this community. And the biggest thing that I love about this community is family.
And I feel that if I am a trustee, I'm going to do my best, and my very best, to bring love back into this community. Because that's what we need. We need more love. And I believe it, that if I can be a model, a role model in this community as I am now, I'd love to bring it as a trustee.
Okay, I got one for you, Ryan Austin. One of the responsibilities of the trustee is the fiduciary responsible of the township. What skills or experiences will you provide to continue and improve the fiduciary health of the Charter Township of Oxford?
Well, I'm in the construction trade, so I'm very well known for construction-based stuff, projects, building things from the ground up. We all need a foundation, and I feel like I bring a very good foundation. Knowing a lot of people in this community, a lot of resources, I feel that I can make an impact in this community, and I also feel that, you know, with everything that's going on, it's now more than ever to really step up.
Okay, thank you. Treasurer Ferrari?
Ryan, since this township board has been seated as of November 20th, 2020, in your opinion, what have we gotten wrong? What have we gotten right?
Well, I'll tell you right now, you've hired probably the number one person that I'm a fan of, Jack Curtis. I've called him Mr. Oxford since day one. I've known Jack a long time. In fact, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jack, because I know that he needs young support in this community, and I feel that I have the power, especially with my business now growing. I have a little more time to put into the community, so that's what I want to do. So I can't criticize anybody because you guys just started. So it's hard to criticize somebody without all the facts. So you guys have done a very good job so far. I've looked at a lot of things. I'm more impressed with the Westlake. You know, you guys have brought a batch plan in there, and you guys have actually saved the conditions of our roads. I mean, that saved a lot of money for the community. So, you know, I think that's pretty much all I have.
Trustee Payne?
What is your vision for Oxford Township in terms of residential, commercial, and industrial districts? And do you feel we have too much or not enough of any of these?
Well, if we're not growing, we're dying. You know, so I believe that Oxford still needs to grow, but we still need to keep that tight-knit community. I truly believe that there is always going to be room for growth in Oxford. And especially with the residential, I like a lot of things you guys are doing. You know, I mean, Oxford, a lot of people in Oxford want it to stay the same. And if things stay the same, it's stagnant. So I feel that we have to always make little improvements. So that's my mission every single day, is just to be a little bit better. So if you can just be better 1% every day, it helps out. So if we aren't better every single day, that's the real thing. So we have to always be growing.
Okay, Trustee Noel.
Based on the demand of your current employment, how will you invest your personal time and energy to make an effective vote on numerous issues in which you will be participating as a trustee?
That's an easy one. Right now, I make time to help people. I believe I run a very successful business in the community, and I always have time to help people. And by doing that, I started podcasts. I love helping people, so I've done a lot of different things, and so this is just one more added thing to help people. So the more I can help, the better off.
Okay, that was Trustee Noel, correct? Okay. Ryan, if you do me a favor and send in Mark Blankenship, please.
Yep.
Thank you. Mark? Mark, we're just going to ask you a question, each one of us, from a panel. We're going to start this time with Trustee Noel.
Okay. What are some examples of your life experience that qualify you for this trustee position?
So I guess I would say that I've been interested in politics since I've been 14 years old. Never thought I'd be actually trying to get into some sort of political role such as this. But,
you know, over the course of my life, I've been in engineering, and now I've risen to a leadership position. You know, and I think that there's a lot of leadership that's required in this, but also a sense of service and a servant-mindedness, you know, that comes about from a position like this. And you know, as I've grown from a young man into who I am now, just understanding from leadership, the relationship building and building of relationships, the importance of that, and working with others in the team environments that I've done. You know, it's really, I think, important. And then the community of Oxford is such that I tell everybody I know I can go into town any day of the week and make a friend. And since I've lived here, all I wanted to do is get back to this wonderful community that we have here, the togetherness, the friendliness. So to me, that's what this position would mean to me, is giving back to our community in a leadership capacity to help try to steer this township in the direction that the people want it to be.
Okay, Treasurer Ferrari?
What are your feelings about permitting recreational marijuana facilities in Oxford Township? Do you feel they're good or bad for the community? Why or why not?
So, I am not a user of marijuana. So, upon hearing that it was going to become legalized, I had a lot of considerations to think through. I have children. And I tend to be liberty-minded. And I know that marijuana can help people in a medicinal way. People who are in pain, cancer, that sort of thing. So I was definitely for the medicinal use. I'm also not a big fan of prohibition, because prohibition doesn't seem to make problems go away. It just sends them into an area of our community that is more underground, right? It's a black market kind of a situation, and you can't control what people are ingesting. So to me, I'm in favor of a regulated marijuana facility so that we all understand what it is that people are getting and putting into their bodies.
Okay.
Supervisor?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Oh, Margie. I'm sorry, you get two. Mine and yours.
Okay. Now I forgot which question I said. Based on the demands of your current employment, how will you invest your personal time and energy to make an effective vote on the numerous issues in which you'll be participating as a trustee?
That's something I've definitely considered as I've considered throwing my head into this arena. Can you guys give me some guidance about how many hours a week that you spend in preparing for these kinds of meetings and doing the homework that it requires to make effective, good decisions?
Well, it varies. This week it was, I've got over 8 hours into it, but on top of this, there's also all the committees that you'll be on. And there's homework for each of the committees that you do.
Okay. So the great thing about the position I hold today in I'll call the private sector, right, in the company I work for, being in management, it allows me a lot of flexibility in my schedule. I take everything I do pretty seriously. I don't do anything halfway. So if I was brought up on the board as a trustee, I think there's a lot of people that could back me up on this. I would give 100% to whatever it takes to do it fully. I kind of appreciate the fact that it's a 1-year commitment, being that it's midway through a term, so that way I can assess at the end of a year whether I run for that reelection in that space. If it becomes it's too much, because for me, honestly, you've got to be able to live up to the commitment.
Thank you. Margie, I am not perfect. I've had a terrible week. I'm going to give you my question to ask. I apologize.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
In your opinion, what are some of the challenges currently facing Oxford, and what plans will you present to address these challenges?
Wow, plans, huh? I haven't had a lot of time to prepare any plans.
Some thought on what you envision Oxford going towards.
I mean, it's hard to get away from the thing that happened here in the last week. My son was in the high school. My kids are all in the schools, so obviously the schools are a big topic, but what strikes me is sort of odd is just that leadership that we need in our community. I know as a father of a high schooler who's looking to people right now to lead them through this challenge that we're in, and they're looking for people that can make them feel safe. They're looking for people who can tell them it's going to be okay. So that's really, I mean, I was considering this and preparing the letter of interest and all that before this event happened. But ever since that, you know, now I'm like resounded to try and be a leader in our community one way or another. So even if it's not this, I'm going to find a way. As far as where the township's headed, you know, I really like the diversification of the different types of our communities, meaning the rural areas are immensely awesome. The residential areas are great. I mean, like I said, I moved here and the neighbors were all very friendly. I go downtown, everybody's very friendly, and so the community itself has just struck me as a great place to live. I've lived a lot of places all over Southeast Michigan, and this is by far the best place I've ever lived. I like our village and all of the downtown amenities that it provides. So, in my opinion, from a planning standpoint, it's all about how do we preserve what we have now? How do we maintain the community? Because I feel like we've got such a nice blend of everything that I don't want to see a lot of drastic change without a lot of consideration, for sure, because I think that the way that the township is structured lends itself to where we are today and the reasons for why most people, I think, like living here. So, you know, I don't have a lot of plans. I would say it'd be more trying to stay the course and carefully consider any kind of changes that we're going to make.
Thank you. Clerk Wright, are you next?
I'm calling.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mark, you're one of 8 candidates for this trustee position. What do you feel separates you from the other candidates to be appointed as the Oxford Township trustee?
Well, without knowing them, obviously. So, you know, in my current employment, I get a lot of feedback, which helps build some of my confidence in my leadership abilities. I haven't always been confident in that regard, confident as a person in general. But over the last few years, I keep going back to this leadership thing because I think it's so important. I think our world's a bit void of leadership at the moment, and being that I pride myself on a lot of these leadership skills, I just keep saying it, right? That's the one thing. I know I can be a good leader. The other thing is, I'm very interested. When I say I've been interested in politics since I'm 14 years old, it's not just from a political standpoint. It's not right, left. It's not, you know, getting into politics. Politics is how people interact with each other, right? That's really the true definition of it. And so that's what I'm interested in, working with people to solve the day-to-day problems of our community in that capacity. So over the last, I'd say, 10 years, I have really worked heavily on my ability to work with others and understanding what that looks like. I'm an engineer, so everything is processes and structure, and so that's the terms I think in, right? So what does it mean and how does that work? And so I've had to kind of get more in touch with my, I'll call it my emotional brain as opposed to my logical brain, right? Because my logical brain is very engineering, you know, math-minded, structures and things of that nature, but on the emotional side, to work with people as I've been rising into a leadership position in my life, in my work life. So I find that I really like working with people, and I like being part of leadership teams that create working things, right? Solving problems, and that's what I do most of my day is sit in meetings and talk through problems and creating solutions with others, right? Giving people time to speak and express their ideas fully, and then, you know, trying to make some rational decisions based on, you know, the information and data that you have.
Thank you. Trustee Charles?
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
This board has been here since, well, roughly a year, November, about a year, at least I'm about a year into it. What kind of things do you think the township has done right recently, and some of the things that the township has done, which is, I wouldn't say wrong, but let's say could do better?
So investing in the Parks and Rec, I think, was a good move for the township. I think, you know, we struggled with that. We failed on the first ballot. You know, there was a large campaign, I think, on the Parks and Rec side to connect with the people, right? So we would go to the community events, and there were people from Parks and Rec there to explain to us why more money was needed, right? And then the second time it went on the ballot, it passed, and I think that, you know, that personal connection, that human touch to that, right? The way it was handled the second time, really, I think it resounded with the community because it worked, right? That resolution finally passed, and we got the money that was needed to invest in our Parks and Rec. And, you know, I'm a guy that, look, don't raise my taxes every time there's an election, right? So my first inclination as a resident of this township is every time that you put up something that is going to raise my taxes, I'm very skeptical about why we're doing it, you know? So I wasn't necessarily in favor of it, and without understanding exactly what was required for that and why we were doing it and all that, I voted no the first time as well. But I think, like I said, that connection to the community, that was a good effort, and to educate people as to why we were asking for money. Likewise with the library thing that just came up, you know, I don't think that was handled properly. It seemed to me that we were trying to get the cart before the horse. It felt like we wanted money for something we didn't have a fully baked plan for, and if there was a fully baked plan, it wasn't communicated to the community. So maybe there's some of that same mistake after, you know, we had just gone through that Parks and Rec thing within the last couple of years, and we learned that if you really want to get a resolution like that passed, and it's important, then we need to communicate with the people and put that human touch to it, and not just explain facts and figures, but make people understand why it is that we're trying to do what we're trying to do.
Thank you, Mark. Would you do me a favor and send Catherine Colvin in, please?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roger, first we're going back this way.
What to do about Roger?
I know, I'm so
I'll never let that one down. Hi, Catherine.
Hello.
We're going to start with Rod Charles. Trustee Charles is going to ask you a question. We'll go down the board with our most favorite question of you. Thank
Okay,
you.
good.
Hi, Kevin.
Good.
Let's start with an easy one. What are your feelings about permitting recreational marijuana facilities in Oxford Township?
I am not a huge fan of allowing recreational marijuana facilities in the township itself. I think we'd have to look at regulations overall. Certainly, if this was something we were going to decide to do, we'd have to make sure it wasn't anywhere near schools, churches, that type of thing. Make sure that we had it very regulated and very much kept away from vulnerable groups like children, churches, who of course probably would not want that kind of atmosphere near them. But overall, I would be against it unless someone could come up with a compelling reason to allow it.
Look right.
Yeah, hi Catherine.
So,
You're one of 8 candidates for this trustee position. What do you feel separates you from the other candidates to be appointed as the trustee?
Well, that's a great question. I did read all of the resumes, and I think there's a lot of great candidates. We were talking in the hall. We all came for the same reasons. We all want to serve our community. We all feel like we have something to give. As you know from my resume, I am an attorney. I have worked in the corporate world for pretty much all my career. In doing that, I have dealt with government regulators, government regulations. I've actually had to write to NHTSA several times, deal with NHTSA in person, and that's of course a huge government regulation group, and persuade them to change their regulations. This happened when I was at Lear working on airbags. Also, when I was at Nextier working on steering regulations, we've had to go in front of them, and I've had to actually get some technical skills using my engineering colleagues to be able to explain to the regulators why the regulations were not actually going to be helpful. I think that kind of experience is something maybe everyone does not have, going up in front of these entities and actually persuading them to maybe change their opinions on things because they did not have all the knowledge they probably needed.
Thank you. My turn?
Can we skip it?
Catherine, it's been a busy week.
I understand.
Based on demands of your current employment, how will you invest your personal time and energy to make an effective vote on the numerous issues in which you'll be participating in as a trustee?
That's an excellent question. I actually recently left my corporate job because I wanted to get more involved in my community. So I'm actually now on my own as an attorney, just working. Lately all I've been doing is DPOAs and things for friends and colleagues that need that kind of documentation. But I left my corporate job on purpose so that I could get more involved in my community. When COVID hit, I started reevaluating my priorities and decided corporate work was not what I wanted to do anymore. So I told them, I gave them months notice, and I left. And so this is where I want to be now.
Thank you very much. Treasurer Ferrari?
Hi, Catherine. What is your vision for Oxford Township in terms of residential, commercial, industrial districts? Do you feel we have too much or not enough of either one of these? Why or why not?
Well, I love Oxford Township, by the way. Just so you know, I love the community. I think it's a great community. I think it's actually a nice mix of things. I like the industrial, but it's not necessarily out front. I like the downtown. I think it's fantastic with the retail and the restaurants, etc. And I do like the residential. I think residential actually makes up the heart of the community. It also, we also have some great, kind of rural areas, and it's just a great mix. I mean, this township is why, we moved here because we came to look at a builder who we were going to build in a different area, and we came here to look at just the house they were building, and we fell in love. We stopped at the restaurant downtown, and we said, okay, we're going to build here. We're not building in the other area. This is where we want to be. That was 17 years ago, and we still want to be here. So I think it's a very nice mix. I think it's a good zoning, and I think we need to keep ensuring that one zone doesn't kind of infringe upon another too much. And I think the zoning is actually pretty well done right now.
Thank you. Trustee Payne.
In your opinion, what are some of the challenges currently facing Oxford Township, and what plans would you present to address those challenges?
Well, I think we all know the biggest challenge right now happened last Tuesday. And I've been, unfortunately, on social media probably too much. But right now there's a big challenge in how to handle that as a community. And I think there needs to be some balance. Recently I've had some people reach out and say it's too much. It's too much. The students are being overwhelmed and they need to stop hearing about it. They need something else. We need to stop necessarily talking about it. And everyone wants to show their support, and I think that's great. And me as well, but maybe we need to find some better safe spaces for them. I know the Legacy Center is doing a great job, and a lot of people around, everyone is pitching in to do a great job. But I think maintaining life for our young people right now is going to be a priority for everyone for the next year, maybe longer, based on what happened.
Thank you. Trustee Noel.
What led you to your decision in applying for this position?
As I said, I wanted to get more involved in my community. I've been coming to a couple of meetings just to try to learn what the issues were. I was showing up, trying to learn what the issues were, figuring out the issues. I mean, I didn't realize gypsy laws were even a thing until I saw it at this meeting. It wasn't affecting me. But I saw one meeting where we were discussing the wages, and this is something I've done in my career quite a bit, trying to deal with that sort of thing, budgeting, etc. And then I heard Trustee Dunn resign, and I said, this is a great opportunity now. It's the perfect opportunity for me to get involved at this level. And it's really bad that this microphone isn't working because I am not loud. I feel like
We can hear you just fine. People that are
Doing
probably
fine.
behind you can't.
Thank you.
We can hear you very well.
Okay.
Thank you. Catherine, would you please send in James Byfield?
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, James.
Good evening.
We're going to start with Trustee Noel.
Based on the demands of your current employment, how would you invest your personal time and energy to make effective vote on the numerous issues in which you will be participating as a trustee?
So the demands on my current employment, I work in the automotive groups. So I'm a paint process engineer. And so my time is usually spent with the day shift. I work day shifts, and then what I would do is I work from home also, so I have some flexibility in my schedule. I'm available nights to work on things with committees, and afternoons I can flexible schedule.
Trustee Payne.
One of the responsibilities of a trustee is the fiduciary of the township. What skills and experience will you provide to continue and improve the fiduciary health of the Township of Oxford?
So one of the things that I'm most proud of is the recent accomplishment with work. I was on a committee to create 2 new paint shops for Trustee. $500 million was the budget for one of them. So I did a lot of decision making with those types of things, with making cost-effective decisions, trying to be more effective in what we were doing and save more money, right? Ultimate goal.
Okay, Treasurer Ferrari.
Hi, James. What is your vision for Oxford Township in terms of residential, commercial, and industrial districts? Do you feel we have too much or not enough of either of these three? Why or why not?
So that's a good question. With Oxford, I've been here a long time, and I've seen this community grow from when we only had a food town and an IGA. But the nice thing that I've seen is we do have good commercial, we have good residential, we've got industrial, and I'd like to see more of all those working in harmony together, making a better community.
Okay, in your opinion, what are some of the challenges currently facing Oxford Township, and what plans will you present to address those challenges?
Current plans are that we have challenges with. I think we're, listening to stuff that from the previous meetings and stuff, is the water and sewer and locations around Oxford, trying to reach out to areas, new residential areas coming into play. Grocery store availability, I think, is one, with Meyer being the main grocery store in town. So I would do things to try to help alleviate some of that pressure that we have. So.
Thank you. Clerk Craig?
Yeah, James, you're one of 8 candidates for the trustee position. What separates you from the other candidates and to be selected as a township trustee?
Well, so being a member of the community for a long time, I graduated from Oxford in 2006. I was a member of the band, and I'd like to stay more involved with the community.
I think with what I bring to offer with my background in statistical analysis and PFEMAs and process controls and things that I have with the automotive industry, I can apply to other things in public works.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Charles?
Well, I guess get the hot question again, huh?
If you'd like.
Sure, why not? What are your thoughts about permitting recreational marijuana? Recreational marijuana
What are my thoughts
in Oxford Township, not the village, but
the township, right, yes, because I know the village did go through, approve that. My thoughts about approval is it's legal in the state of Michigan. So we should be using that to our advantage and monitor and maintain control on what's in our neighborhood. I'm sure there's a financial gain that we would be getting from this for the community, and we could use that money for a lot of other things to benefit. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, James. Would you please send in Anthony Rizzo?
Yes.
Thank you. You were last, you're first this time. Hello, Anthony.
Hello.
Go ahead, Rod.
Anthony, you're one of 8 candidates for this position, which will last, what, 10, 11 months, I believe? What separates you from the other people that are here tonight?
Actually, I met them, and I think they're all good candidates, actually. But I've been around Oxford a long time, like 40 years, and I've been very active in the community. Most of you probably know me. And I've been with the library for 15 years, active there. I'm very active in the church. Of all the library board meetings, in 15 years, I think I probably missed 4 meetings. So I think I do a good job on this as far as being here. I'm a quick study.
Okay. Clerk Wright?
You know, what are your feelings about permitting recreational marijuana facilities in Oxford Township? Do you think they're good or bad for the community? Why and why not?
That's a good question. It's probably good for the community. Would I want to see it? Probably not. I mean, as far as income, I sell heating and cooling products, and it's a very important part of the marijuana grow because you have to get rid of the heat that the lights create. And I spend a lot of energy selling that product. Would I want it in Oxford? Not necessarily. If we had a shop, I guess I don't have to make that decision right this moment. But answer your question, I'm not certain.
Okay, and the Oxford Township Board has several committees. Based on your strengths, what committees would you be interested in serving on if you were appointed?
Probably the ones that had to do with the changes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Hi, Tony.
Hi.
Since this township board's been seated as of November 20th, 2020, in your opinion, what have we gotten wrong? What have we gotten right?
In which year?
Since we were just seated in November of last year, what has this board gotten wrong? And what have we gotten right?
I can't see that you've done anything wrong. I mean,
Is there things we could do better?
not that I'm aware of.
Trustee Payne?
In your opinion, what are some of the challenges currently facing Oxford Township, and what would you plan to address those challenges?
I think the signage is bothersome.
In what manner?
Well, I know the village, for a while, they started out with having big flashy signs. then all of a sudden they change their mind. So as long as we have something in place that everybody can follow and obey, then that way you're not pointing fingers. So the bank's okay, but the church can't have a sign. I was involved in some of that, and I didn't think it was very fair.
Right. And that was the village, huh?
I understand that.
Okay.
Trustee Noel?
What is your vision for Oxford Township in terms of residential, commercial, and industrial districts? Do you feel that we have too much or not enough of either of these? Why and why not?
Well, I think you need industrial, as long as we have a place for it. As far as more homes, if we still have property and it's not going to mess with the environment, I would be in favor of more housing.
Okay. Anthony, would you please send in Ashley Ross?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Ashley.
Hello.
We're going to start with Trustee Noel.
Based on the demands of your current employment, how would you invest your personal time and energy to make an effective vote on the numerous issues in which you will be participating in as a trustee?
I think based on my resume, you can see I'm a very busy person. And I think what anyone would say about me is that I always come prepared and I always find the time. So my schedule might be a little bit different. I might be up in the middle of the night reading through everything, but I always ensure that I've read through everything. I ask the questions, and I'm always there. I'm always showing up. Very rarely would I ever have to miss anything. So just planning and making sure that I know what the topics are. And I will tell you I'm not an expert in everything, but I will learn, and I will ask the questions until I understand to make an informed vote.
Thank you. Trustee Payne?
What is your vision for Oxford Township in terms of residential, commercial, and industrial districts? Do you feel we have too much or not enough of anything?
I think in the last 2 months, I've been able to join on to the Planning Commission, thanks to all of you. I moved my family here 2 years ago because this is where we wanted to be. We loved Oxford as it is, and we also loved the development that we were seeing. Being able to see all of the resolutions passed today for the Planning Commission, everyone has the right idea. We moved here because we love the way Oxford feels. We know that there's going to be growth in different industries, but making sure that the master plan aligns with everyone's vision and that our rules and regulations are following that as well. I think we're right on track. So for me, I'm here because I love it as it is. Don't tell everyone in this room. I'm from Lake Orion. I chose to live here. So, I mean, there's something special about being here, and that's why, you know, I'm here today in front of you.
Okay. Treasurer Ferrari?
Well, actually, that was a tough pill to swallow there.
I'm telling you, the microphone's not working still, right?
Nobody else heard.
Lower Oxford.
Actually, this is the township. I know what your vote was on the village, but this is for the township.
Yes.
What are your feelings about permitting recreational marijuana facilities in Oxford Township? Do you feel they're bad or good for the community? Why or why not?
So, you know what my vote was in the village.
Correct.
And I think that we've been able to have I'm sorry?
I don't.
I don't either.
I voted for. And that was after reading an immense amount of all of the laws. I can't tell you the countless hours I spent in conversation with the attorney, making different drafts, and having conversations just overall and listening to what folks on the township felt versus what the village felt. It's always going to be a split decision. What we felt in the village was that it was a prime place for actual business and micro business. So we really regulated it to fit the village's capacity. And when I think of the township, I don't know if that capacity is the same. And I think we need to partner together with the village to say, where are we selling? Where are we growing? It's an industry that's here to stay. It is a tax base based on what businesses you allow. I do know a lot about it, and I'm thankful for my time on the village because I have learned about it. I've always taken into consideration the residents' feelings and really looking at that master plan and what's happening with the planning commission and what our ordinances say to where you put different spaces. But I think that has the potential to be a wonderful partnership between the two municipalities.
In your opinion, what are some of the challenges currently facing Oxford Township? And what plans will you present to address these challenges?
My answer to that, I think, as probably most of the other candidates, has changed in the last week. Our town is in a very different spot than it was a week ago, even though it's still the same wonderful town that we all know. So I can't stand before you today and tell you I have a plan, because I think that all of our agencies, regardless, the school, the village, the township, our fire, our police, we all have to take this slow, look at everything, and see what Oxford needs. Before this event, I thought we were on a great plan. We had lots of residential coming in, lots of new businesses downtown. Things have been thriving, and to really continue and look at, different spots throughout the town, how we can continue to help things grow, but keep it the same Oxford that we know without becoming this bubbling metropolis. I don't think anyone lives here because you wanted that. So I don't have a clear answer for that, and I don't know if anyone does at this point.
Thank you. Clerk Wright?
Yeah, Ashley, you're one of 8 candidates for the trustee position. What do you feel separates you from the rest of the 8 candidates to be able to be selected as the trustee?
I think for this particular position, I'm well suited. I know a lot of the other candidates, or I've seen them around town. I think they're wonderful people. I've worked with Mr. Dunn on the DDA, so that's something I would be able to jump into. I have not an extensive amount of experience in government, but I do have a little bit. And I think right now, if you're doing a 10, 11-month appointment, especially with everything that's going on, it would be nice to have somebody that can at least just jump in for these interim months. And I think that I can do that. Not that the other candidates couldn't learn, but right now, there's a lot facing Oxford. And there's a lot to do. So I think I would be able to jump in and be a part of that right away.
Thank you, Ashley. Trustee Charles?
Actually, I keep seeing her every night.
Are you sick of me yet?
That was a long time. You mentioned being new. This board is new. Mr. Curtis is new in his current role. I'm the rookie on the board here. So in the last year, in your opinion, what has the township gotten right, and what can the township improve upon?
Well, we'll start with the negative feedback, but this is also very personal. Maloney, the bridge. But that's because we have family property over there. But no, I'm just giving you a hard time. I think that you all take things into consideration, and you're very practical, and I absolutely appreciate that. I think the township is in a great spot. I don't know if there's another question coming after you, Mr. Charles. So the one thing that I think that we could improve upon, and I've been very honest that along the way, I ran in 2020 for the village because I felt like my family's interests were not fully represented on the ballot. And I've expressed to you, Mr. Curtis, in the past, we hold very different political ideologies. And so when I'm standing here today, I'm asking for a seat 1 out of 7 for a large minority of our township that doesn't feel like their voice is necessarily represented. And they know that even if somebody who is more of my political affiliation is put on here, I'm still the minority, but at least they might have a seat at the table.
Thank you. Would you at least tell them who appointed you to the Planning Commission?
Mr. Jack Curtis.
Thank you.
Who seconded that, Mr. Curtis?
Charles. Thank you, Ashley. Would you please send in Donald Scott?
Yes, thank you. Oh, no, I'm stuck here. There we go. All right.
Mr. Scott,
Yes, sir.
we're going to start with Mr. Charles and go down the road here and talk to you and ask you some questions. Trustee Charles?
Hi, Mr. Scott, how are you? Mr. Charles. There's 8 candidates currently. What separates you from the other folks standing out in the hallway?
I don't know, I think the main thing that separates me would be that I'm currently retired, so I have a lot more time to devote to the structures of the job. No longer pulls me away from anything that I might be able to devote to the township. Other than that, lifelong experience of playing politics. Being both involved in several different campaigns, being involved with Board of Trustees at the Waterford Elks, being president of the Waterford Elks, and positions of management throughout my career. That's what I have.
Okay, Clerk Wright?
Yes, what are your feelings about permitting recreational marijuana facilities in Oxford Township, and do you feel they're good for the community? And why or why not?
Boy, well, if it's permitted by law, I guess it would be a situation that would have to be permitted. Personally, I don't partake in, I don't think it's good for the overall community, but if it's lawful, probably not too much we can do.
Okay. You answered that question for me. I couldn't. I was going to ask it. What are some of the examples of your life's experiences that qualifies you for the trustee position?
Oh, I haven't been a trustee before.
In which township?
Well, it was actually for the Waterford Elks. So Waterford Township would be in the township of Waterford. Making decisions of a multi-million-dollar organization. Management positions throughout. General manager, area manager. Off the top of my head, that's about all I have.
Okay. Thank you. Treasurer Ferrari?
Hi, Mr. Scott. What is your vision for Oxford Township in terms of residential, commercial, and industrial districts?
Well, I'd like
Do you have too much or not enough of any of these?
Well, I think residential definitely could be picked up a bit. Commercial, I'd like to see at its current status. I don't see an awful lot more room for growth, except for maybe in perhaps landscaping, farming, agriculture, that type of thing. Retail, probably not so much so.
So you see this more as like a West Bloomfield that's heavier residential?
Yes, I do. I prefer that as opposed to being something like a, like a St. Clair Shores or something along those lines.
Understood.
Trustee Payne?
One of the responsibilities of a trustee is the fiduciary of the township. What skills and experience will you provide to continue and improve the fiduciary health of the Charter Township of Oxford?
Well, I have a lot of experience. My career was basically started in banking. So as an area manager, fiduciarily, I have seen a lot of things throughout the course of my career. I've managed multi-million dollars. I've had multi-million dollar bonds on myself, in order to handle money. Being involved in the day-to-day carry-ons of an organization like the Oaks, making million-dollar decisions based on what, many options as to where things can go, what the pros and cons are. So, I've been doing it for the last 35 years.
Thank you. Trustee Noel?
Since the Township Board has been seated November 20th, 2020, in your opinion, what have we gotten wrong and what have we gotten right?
Well, to be honest with you, I haven't seen the minutes from too many of the meetings. The only thing that I saw was, well, actually I can't even answer that accurately because I can't recall anything off the top of my head that I can bring up for review.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll call you all in about 5 minutes. We're just going to chat about you. Members of the board, one thing that I do not want to be accused of is stacking the board. I will not be making a motion to recommend anybody. I want the recommendation to come from this board, not from me. The reason is I want to continue having all 7 of us have a voice in the community based on the different areas we're from. So you've heard from all 8 candidates. I have who I'm voting for. I hope you have who you're voting for. I don't know when we bring them back in who wants to make the first motion. I just wanted to let you know I will not be making the motion because I do not want any person in the public to think I'm stacking this board with somebody that is going to do what I like to do. I want it to be what we like to do. So to that, I want you to give a thought to yourself for a minute. I don't know who makes the motion when we come in. There's a motion in your packet. We fill in a name and start voting. Yes, sir.
Would it be appropriate to have a discussion or not?
If you have questions.
No, I mean, I have to say, I'm greatly conflicted, not a little conflicted, because I see some really great people here, but I have some thoughts, but...
I have never seen this many good people come to a board and volunteer to stand up to take the trustee's job. I'm very pleased about that, number one.
I'm really conflicted because there's some...
It's tough. That's what they pay you for. Trustee Noel, do you have anything?
Zipit.com.
No, sir, thank you.
Trustee Payne, do you have any questions?
No, I agree. We have a lot of good, very good candidates.
I know that. Treasurer Ferrari?
We're good candidates, but I'm ready to make a motion when they come in. Start it going.
Clerk Wright?
You can only fill the seat with one person, so you have to vote accordingly.
It takes 4 members of this board to vote an individual in, so we'll call the members in, please. Somebody give me a hand. Thank you, sir.
Somebody's got to. Somebody asked the audience.
It's up to you to make a tough decision, but I want to say something first.
Yeah, really.
I had 5. Okay, hold on, let's read it first. Ladies and gentlemen, came forth tonight, a couple comments that were made is I'm not going to be making a motion to appoint somebody because I don't want the inflection that I'm stacking the board, number one. Number two, the comments were made in the audience will testify for me, maybe? We have a lot of great candidates here tonight, and it was remarkable that we had this number of candidates stand up. So after all these questions, I need a motion.
Let me start it off.
I want to make a quick comment, sir.
Yes, sir. Trustee
Just for the candidates out here, I mean, without going through names, I would tell the folks here, I have 4 names written down that I think are, I mean, there's 8 people here, as Mr. Curtis said, that are great. 4 myself that I'd be happy if any of the 4 because they're just some great people here that, and some of you I know and some of you I don't know. But anyhow, that's my spiel.
I open the floor.
I can try it.
Go ahead.
I move to appoint Ashley Ross to the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees to serve her term as a trustee. The term of office that expires upon the certification of the November 2022 midterm election by the Board of Canvassers.
I have a motion. I need support. Motion fails for support. Anybody else have a motion to make?
I move to appoint Catherine Colvin to the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees to serve as trustee for the term of office that expires upon the certification of the November 2022 midterm election by the Board of Canvassers.
I support.
I have a motion by Trustee Payne, support by Rod Charles. Roll call, please.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Clerk Wright? Yes. And Trustee Charles?
Yes.
We have a new member of the board. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I want to say it all. Thank you very much for coming out and applying for this position. hardest job I have is getting people to come and stand up and want to work in our community. And I applaud you all for at least raising your hand. The board has spoken. Thank you.
A lot of great candidates. It's very difficult.
Okay, moving on. Catherine, tomorrow you'll need to come in and get sworn in by Clerk Wright, and you'll be expected at the January 12th, 2022 Township Board meeting. Thank you all. Okay, item 11, B, 2022 wage and salary recommendations.
I move to approve the 2022 wages and salaries of grade and step classification for following positions: hourly employees, administrative assistant to the treasurer, grade 3, step 3; administrative assistant to the building department, grade 3, step 3; administrative assistant to the clerk, grade 3, step 3; administrative assistant to the supervisor, grade 3, step 3; administrative and executive assistant OCSO substation, grade 3, step 4; planning and zoning coordinator, grade 3, step 3; ordinance enforcement officer, maximum 20 hours a week, 25 per hour; salaried employees, deputy clerk, grade 4, step 8; deputy treasurer, grade 4, step 7; communications and grant manager, grade 4, step 8; building official, grade 7, step 3.
Step 4.
That was supposed to be 3, that's what Curtis told me. Right, Curtis?
Yes, and discussion 3.
I guess it was
Discussion 0.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Payne. Roll call, please.
Trustee Noel? Yes. Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Item 11C, 2022 General Appropriations Act.
I move to approve the Charter Township of Oxford 2022 General Appropriations Act as presented.
No, and in the building officials, so he wasn't. Right? Yeah, but he's not in this.
Yeah, it has to be added in there.
Curtis
Oh,
was
with
there.
the addition of the building official's salary, which is grade 7, step 3.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Payne, seconded by Treasurer Ferrari. Roll call.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
And Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Okay, 11, what is this? D, 2022 wage and salary resolution.
I move to approve the 2022 authorized salary, hourly, and per diem rates resolution as, I think this one's correct, right, Curtis?
No, that has to change as well with the building official.
With a change from building official, grade 7, step 3.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Noel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
And Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Okay, on to Compensation and Performance Evaluation Committee. I'm going to throw a ringer in here for a minute. We don't have our new trustee appointed here yet, but I'm going to make a recommendation. I would move to appoint Jack Curtis, Curtis Wright, and Catherine Colvin to serve on the Compensation and Performance Evaluation Committee.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Supervisor Curtis, a second by Treasurer Ferrari. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes.
Thank you. Cable 296, 2022 budget.
I move to approve the recommended 2022 cable budget with revenues and expenditures balancing at $364,145. Attached to spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Clerk Wright. Roll call, please.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
No.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Okay. Yes, item 12, new business. Item A, drain pipe connection, Davis Lake, Park Lake, and Tan Lake. Board members, in front of you from Treasurer Ferrari, you got a memo about a failing drain pipe connected between Davis Lake, Park Lakes, and Tan Lake. The drain pipe that's failing was installed not using any engineering standards, and the public is asking for this township board to make a decision on whether the township initiates a process of a resident or a resident-initiated petition. I have members of the audience that want to talk about the drain underneath Tanview.
Yes, so my name is Stan Skiba and I live at 7.
I'm sorry, Stanley?
Stan, S-T-A-N, Skiba, S-K-I-B-A.
Thank you, Stan.
And I live at Tanview Road. So we know the situation on the condition of the culvert. I would like to say that if the culvert breaks, if there is a failure of the culvert, it will result with the obstruction of the water flow. The water on Lake, Park Lake, Davis Lake will rise 3, 4 or more feet before it breaks over the Tanview Road. This is just my assessment looking on the plans and the elevations of the ground. So from this perspective, I would say that properties on the north side of the road, means at the Park Lake, Davis Lake, all of them will be affected. When the water breaks over the Tanview, the properties on the other side of the road will be affected, means on the Ten Lake, Spring Lake, and other lakes, those properties will be affected. What's more, the road will be washed out, creating even broader discomfort, I would say, to big population living in this area. And due to the complexity of this situation, multiple properties, multiple people living around, affecting the failure of the culvert, I would say that Oxford Township and Oakland County should coordinate the, first of all, citizen information to reach everybody, to present to them about the situation, what could happen if there is a failure of that pipe. And also, due to the resources what are collected from our taxes should be used towards the repair of the pipe. I would say that in action, we are discussing this for the longer period of time, and no action has been taken. So inaction may result with the situation, and it will result with the situation we have seen recently on the Wood Trail Road. And we do not want this to happen. So in my opinion, in our opinion, it is better to prevent than to repair. So the request is toward the township to initiate the petition to the Oakland County Water Commissioner to proceed with the assessment of the situation, assessment of the cost, how much this would be, and reaching all the stakeholders, means residents north of the Tanview, south of the Tanview, living on those lakes, as well road commission, to be involved and have the right to hear what is the situation and potential problem if the pipe fails.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Carol Leonard. I live at 733 Tandy on the other side of the culvert. Oakland County Drain Commission did not realize that that water drains through that culvert all year round. It does not freeze up. So as of now, Davis Lake are complaining, residents, that they're being flooded. Well, what do you think will happen if the water stops flowing? their property is going to be underwater. Okay, so this culvert is very important too because it flows into Tan Lake. And the Drain Commission, who's responsible for the level in Tan Lake, has come out and viewed we have a little weir in front of this culvert because it's disintegrating. The metal is disintegrating, both ends. And he is just not sure about the lake, that Park Lake. There is a judgment by a judge as to what the level of Park Lake is supposed to be, but he is not certain how that affects the Oakland County Drain Commission with well, I know they changed their name, but with how the level of the water. I don't know what they do with Davis Lake. I know that's a DNR lake. Our Park Lake is a private lake. Tan Lake is a DNR lake. So I'm not sure, but the problem is, if that culvert fails, where is that water going to go? Somebody has to be responsible. It was an easement for me and Stan when we bought. Those houses were built in the 60s. So there is no going back to the builder like you did on Woodlawn in Lake Orion. The road commission has said they sent a camera under it when we had our road redone, but they're not allowing us to view any report that shows whether what's underneath the road is okay. We know the ends are deteriorating and caving in. So this is our concern, and we want everybody on Davis Lake, because Park Lake knows about it, and people in our sub know about it, Lake Park homeowners, but the people in Tan Lake and Davis Lake should know too what's going on. And that's why we're asking that the township step in and apply for recognition with the Drain Commission.
Okay, anybody else in the audience want to speak on this?
Yes, I'd like to speak.
Sure. To the mic.
I'm,
Yeah. Run up to the not mic working.
No, that's fine. I'll just stay here.
Thank you.
I live at 757 Tanview. I'm 2 doors down from there. I'm on Park Lake. I want to say that it also not only affects Davis Lake and Park Lake, but it also affects Powell Lake, because there's a connection to Powell Lake, which would affect Drainer. And all these levels would rise to the point where it would impact on the roads that exist there. Okay? And it's much cheaper to remediate this drain now, before it collapses, than to wait until it collapses and fails. The techniques that they now use for lining these are proven, and the remediation can be done without digging. And I suggest that we get on it, regardless of, you just can't let this fail. It would impact Tanview, it would stop Tanview, it would collapse. You would have no ingress or egress except for north and south, strictly not through. And we all know there's too much traffic on Tanview now, so maybe it would be a good thing. So, that's just my comment.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to comment on that? Yes, sir, Treasurer Ferrari.
Jim, I hate to put you on the spot. You take a look at any of this from an engineering perspective?
I'm looking at some legal levels right now, but no, I've heard discussions about it in the past, but no, I have not been involved in any type of engineering with the road commission or anything like that. No.
Okay.
Jim wouldn't be involved, Joe, because it is not township property, nor is it drain commission property.
Well, it's somebody's property.
The fact of the matter is the road will
It's not my property either.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we are where we are today with zoning ordinances. We just went through and changed 50 ordinance classifications to prevent things like this that happen. I'll speak before I go to any questions on the board. The numerous letters from the Road Commission, the Drain Commission, the attorneys, the council, the commissioners, on and on and on. It all clearly falls down into no resident has fulfilled the inclination to petition Chapter 4 drain process to address the failing drain. You know what it takes through an SAD to get this done. The township could initiate this, or the residents can initiate this. The township has not been in the business of initiating this. We allow the residents to determine what they want to pay in their taxes for special assessment districts. It's my opinion, I don't want somebody telling me that I'm gonna have to pay $15,000 more per year on my property tax. We as residents should go through and sign a petition that says, I would like to. So, I'm gonna go through the board members and get their opinion right now. Trustee Noel?
I also feel the township's not responsible for the SADs. The SADs are a major undertaking. We went along with that when we did the weed control on Tan Lake. To take this as an SAD on any part, it would be a tremendous responsibility. One of the lakes was added that I didn't know about was Powell Lake. That adds another whole group of residents. The Tan Lake will go all the way into McNichols Lake. So there is a tremendous amount of residents that would be involved with this if this was undertaken. I would like to see it fall back on the Drain Commission if at all possible.
They push it back to the homeowners.
They push back to the homeowners, correct.
Homeowners will let it collapse.
The homeowners will let it collapse, they will.
And then somebody has to address
Because it's
it.
not
Okay,
our responsibility.
We understand that, and I'm gonna talk to the rest of the board.
Okay.
Trustee Payne, you have any comments?
I guess I wonder, has the SAD been tried yet with the homeowners? Have you tried to do the petitions?
If I may, when we had our road repaved,
Yes.
we made a specific request of the township to make sure that that drain was intact. And they chose to basically ignore it. They looked at what occurred under the street and nothing else.
Okay, I'm gonna clarify that. The road commission looked underneath that road and saw what
Supposedly,
it
we
was. It
can't
was
get
not the
access to
township.
what they're
The
reporting.
township has no role and responsibility in this drain. Treasurer Ferrari.
I know you guys understand about the homeowners association, Lake Park homeowners. I know they're kind of active. And they
Yeah,
kind of
we're
run
active, we're
hot
only
cold.
55 homes.
Well, there are other homeowners associations around.
Treasurer Ferrari,
We
what's your
shouldn't
question?
focus only on.
Are they willing to take this on?
We don't even know the addresses of the many people that, I mean, we're asking for help to even get the knowledge out there. All we hear is that Davis Lake is complaining about flooding, thinking we're doing it, which we're not. But just imagine what would happen if that culvert fails, the water will rise.
So, Greg, do you have any questions or comments?
I do know that some of the homeowner representatives came in and talked to me about 2 years ago. I did supply them with information on our behalf to initiate a social assessment district, and I don't believe that's going any farther on that. I do know that this has been an event when I was supervisor back in 1996 or whatever. It was the same issue that came up. I don't know what's deteriorated since then for the culvert itself, but I would say that this is a major undertaking for a special assessment district, because I view it as the same thing as what happened with the dam that was replaced by the Water Resources Commission. You're entailing Davis Lake, Park Lake, Powell Lake, and potentially the other stream lakes because of the tributary that flows into those lakes affecting the lake levels there. So,
If I may add, it also affects the village.
Effort is tremendous, but I do believe that's something that the residents need to let us know that you're really interested in making this happen.
Trustee Charles.
Mr. Ferrari, you wrote this up here, I believe, is that correct?
Correct.
You say here the Lake Park Homeowners Association is to deposit initial escrow of $1,500 to begin the process. When did you contact them?
No, this is the thing that's been going on and on.
So you put this on here, right?
Pardon?
You put this on here?
Yeah, I talked to Stan. Stan
You
wanted
put it
to have
on
the
here,
board.
right?
Correct.
Because I talked to Lake Park Homeowners Association president, he doesn't know anything about this.
Well, I think Charlie was emailed on it.
Well, I talked to him and he never got anything from you at all.
Okay. Well, I talked to
So I don't know
Stan.
why it's on here.
Well, I talked to Stan, and Stan wanted to have the township board address it.
I'm not asking that. I said, you put Lake Park Homeowners Association on there, and apparently you never talked with them about something you put on this agenda.
He's on this email.
Well,
Charles Proctor. Right here, right at the top, sent to.
Can I ask you, with the application for $1,500, do we have to have everybody sign that's on the lake?
51%.
51% of all those lakes? We don't even have the addresses or names of anybody.
Those would be provided to you.
That would be helpful.
The clerks could usher him to this process.
I look for a
But,
motion.
you know, what happened on Woodlawn in Oxford going into Lake Orion, could very well happen on Canby. And I know that the township
Okay,
was
I'm
involved
gonna
with
get this
that.
meeting back to order. We can't, we're addressing this situation. I look for a motion. I'll make the motion that the Charter Township of Oxford declines to initiate a Chapter 4 drain process to address the failing drain pipe connecting Davis Park, Lakes, Tan Lake, and Powell Lake as is customary with Township Special Assessment District. This process shall be initiated with an approved affected resident petition. It is understood that any and all costs are to be borne by those property owners directly affected by these improvements. The Lake Park Homeowners Association is to deposit an initial escrow of $1,500 after the appropriate number of petitions have been initiated and signed.
Second.
A motion by Supervisor Curtis, second by Clerk Wright. Roll call, please. Or are there any questions? Yes, sir, Trustee Noel.
Why are we looking for Lake Park Homeowners Association to be responsible for this?
I don't know, it's in the package.
that was my question. Mr. Any comment or Mr. Curtis?
Yes, it was.
Well, to repeat my statement, as far as I know, Lake Park Homeowners Association was never
Is
contacted.
this the homeowners association that affects these lakes?
That's what it was in the past, yes. Remember, this has been going on for years.
Well, they can take this to the Lake Park Homeowners Association and get the deposit of $1,500 and then work with Clerk Wright to get the addresses of the people on the lake that they would need 51% of the petition to get it fulfilled.
Well, we just heard that there's multiple lakes involved, which is more than one homeowners association. So why are we putting the onus on one homeowners association?
Are these two homes in the Lake Park Homeowners Association?
Yes.
What was the question?
Yes, they are.
They are in the same homeowners association?
Yep, they are. They're in. And then
And that's why we're doing it.
Do they have the authority to speak to the association?
The association would have to deposit. If they don't deposit it, the SAD doesn't go through.
Well, we brought to the attention of the
other associations.
But there are other associations involved, so they should be also involved in the process of
I believe
petition.
that there should probably be some initial contact with either the Road Commission, Water Resources Commission, and/or Eagle to determine what the boundaries would be that this particular inlet affects in the surrounding areas. Because if it's a tributary, you definitely have Davis Lake, Park Lake, and potentially Powell Lake, but the other ones, I can't speak for that, whether that drain affects that lake level because it's regulated by a dam.
I don't know either. From what I read from the Road Commission of Oakland County, from what I read from the Drain Commission, what I hear from the public, from what I hear from everybody up here is if the residents of that lake, of those lakes, want to fix what they believe is to be a failing drain pipe, they need to initiate the process of a Chapter 4 drain SAD, not the township. That's what my motion said. Yes, sir.
You're still willing to work with them, correct?
Oh, sure.
Like, let's say they give you the 1,500, we'll still work with them and try to make it happen.
We book it for every other resident that's on SAD.
Only other comment.
Yes, sir.
Repeat what I said, we're saying one homeowners association, and we just said we have multiple lakes. That's, to me, that's ridiculous.
But this will start the process.
Well, then start the process the right way.
And what is the right way, Trustee Charles?
The right way would be to involve all the affected parties that have been identified, not just one.
Do you see why this is such a contentious topic of discussion? No one wants to claim ownership of this, but yet everyone's afraid the sky is falling.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir, Trustee Knowles.
I agree with your original proposal. I think if we let the Lake Park Homeowners Association digest this, work it through, get back with the township, and we can work with them on trying to facilitate or to move this forward or backwards, whatever they want to do.
If Lake Park Homeowners Association does not deposit an initial escrow of $1,500,
That's correct.
nothing goes farther.
Well, we can do that, but we are not the only association involved in this. That's the problem. But we would start off the
Yes, Trustee
procedure.
Knowles.
This SAD process needs to be investigated by the Lake Park Homeowners Association. They need to do their due diligence on how they work and the ins and outs to those, and then come back to the township to see how we can assist you. It's a massive undertaking. No
Right,
question about that.
but it's not
But for
just
tonight's
one,
meeting, we can determine that the Lake Park Homeowners Association would be the ones that would be the kickoff for this.
right, we're not the only ones that are involved. And this culvert is between the two of our houses, and it's failing at both ends. Okay, I have a basement garage, okay? And I have a drain that goes out to the street, so, in front of my garage. So if that fails, it's gonna go through the storm drain and out also. Just letting you know that there should be more, we just want to be able to get in contact with the other homeowners associations so we can do this as a group.
Well,
That's
what
what we
we've
would like.
offered for you to do is to get with your homeowners association and you get convince them to bring $1,500 to Clerk Wright
We'll do that.
and he will
I'm
start
the
the process
treasurer.
if this board passes
I'm the
that.
treasurer, we will do that.
If this board passes this motion, we will help you do that.
Okay.
Well, maybe all other associations should be shared the same part of the financial burden of the petition.
Your petition is how ever many people are affected by the SAD. If there's 100 homes and it's $1 million, do the math.
Well, I'm talking that all those associations should contribute to the petition first. Not just the one.
That's to be determined. Whatever you come to us with, whoever comes to us with the
Well, so we
$1,500
release all those
bucks,
associations.
we will give you all the information you need to contact those people.
Mr. Curtis,
Yeah.
to clarify, the $1,500 happens once you've gotten the 51% petition.
No. The 1,500 is the start, correct?
After the appropriate number of petitions have been initiated and signed.
Yeah. So
So they didn't deposit the money until they had their 51%.
Put a
All right,
period.
I'm going to call the roll, I'm going to call the vote on my motion.
Trustee Noel? Yes. Trustee Payne?
No.
Treasurer Ferrari?
No.
Supervisor Curtis?
No.
Right? Yes. And Trustee Charles?
No.
I'll make a motion that Charter Township of Oxford declines to initiate Chapter 4 drain process, address the failing drain pipe connecting Davis Park Lakes and Tan Lake. As is customary with the Township Special Assessment Districts, this process shall be initiated with an approved effective resident petition. It is understood that any and all costs to be borne by these homeowners directly affected by these improvements. The Lake Park Homeowner Association is deposited an initial escrow of $1,500. Period. So you don't have to
Always
petitions.
taking out the last.
So they deposit and Curtis can investigate with our engineer, Jeff Wilson.
So we're just going to charge them to do
Because
that?
Jim's gonna charge us fees, I would think. I would think he'd have to be involved.
There's a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? I do not have a second.
Mr. Curtis?
Yes, Mrs. Payne.
What I suggest is that the Lake Park Homeowners Association, it sounds to me like the Park Owners Association isn't 100% on board with this. It seems to me that maybe if that association contacted we'll give them the information to contact the other associations affected by this, then maybe they can sit down and and then we can have the conversation about an SAD.
I agree.
I would suggest
This board is willing to exert the resources to provide you the property owners, Sidwell's names and addresses. We're not going to go door to door and get a petition signed. We're not going to go door to door to the homeowners association looking for a deposit. This motion clearly calls out by Treasurer Farrar, which we haven't had a second on yet, that if somebody brings us $1,500, we'll start this SAD process. So I'm looking for a second.
It already died.
Who's seconded?
No, I think
It's
that-
dead.
It's dead. All right. Yes, sir. Trustee Charles.
You know, I think it's a good idea to check into this, by the way. I don't disagree with where it wants to go. I just think there's been not enough homework done. And I realize it's a monumental task, and it's a great idea, but there's a lot of work, as Supervisor Curtis said, to do an SAD district. But as I pointed out, someone has to do some homework, and I don't see that homework being done here.
I'm going to reiterate the fact that we are willing to help people that come to the township complete an SAD. But it's the residents who have to do it. Based on the evidence from the road commission, based on the call out from the commissioner, based on the drain commission, it's the residents who have to call out this drain SAD. Whoever comes to us with the money and wants to do an SAD, we will provide all of the information, the homeowners, the Sidwells, whatever you want, we will provide it to you. We're not going to go door to door and bang on there and look for somebody to sign this. We're not going to force this SAD on someone. It's up to the residents to come to us and ask us to do that, and we're more than willing to do it. So this motion is dead.
That's why it keeps coming back to us never any direction.
It'll be back next year. I understand that.
Hope so.
Direction to the residents. If you want an SAD, get your petition ready. Clerk Wright can help you formulate that petition, and he's got examples of past ones. Take it around and get it signed, bring your money in. We'll get you guys get the 51%. We'll be glad to put the SAD in and help you.
So we need those addresses, all those people who should be part of the petition.
Yes. We will give you those addresses, right?
And associations.
Pending the $1,500.
Pending the $1,500.
Yes, we will contact the other association to contribute to this $1,500 because we want this to be community effort, affected community effort toward the #1 petition and #2 towards repay process.
Prepaid? I'm sorry, I missed the last part of that.
Repay.
Repay process?
Of course, you want to involve Mr. Wilson in it too.
Well,
Not yet.
we know what we got to do. The residents know what they have to do, and we'd be glad to help you, but there's a process in place for a resident to initiate an SAD. We're more than willing to work with you. Item 12B, SCDBG suggested funding for 2022. What did I say? 2022. Did I say something wrong?
No, you know what page is it, 201.
Oh. 201.
You're hard to keep up with.
Joe, you came to us with a proposal to spend the federal monies in our township. Did you want to speak to that?
We had monies, you got it in your packet. There's a recommendation on 21,897 for the library for the ADA improvements, 6,884 from, you heard from Renee Courtright before she left, for the wages for the Meals on Wheels folks, 2,500 for Haven. We're going to do 30% on public services, so that maxes out the Meals on Wheels in the Haven. The other project was for the library's doors to make an ADA approval, ADA accessible. We have used ADA monies before, block grant monies before for these type of ADA improvements. This is just a recommendation, so whatever the board wishes to do, I will take care of.
Any questions? Yes. Trustee Payne.
Last year, we gave $21,000 for mobile home minor repairs program.
Yes.
I guess since the library has 1.5 million in their fund balance, I understand that they have a lot of plans for that money, and I understand they need to use it for their heating and cooling system and so on. However, the 21,000, they could make a difference of someone being able to, install a ramp or, the small minor things that make a difference for a mobile homeowner versus the library that actually does have the money. And I understand the money is being used. The 1.5 million has, a lot of plans for it, but I just think the 21,000 would be better suited to the mobile home repairs.
Excuse me, thank you, Trustee Payne. Trustee Charles.
I want to second or agree with is the appropriate term with what Trustee Payne just identified. To my understanding, the library has a pretty healthy fund. And I would rather spend the money on poor people that need some help as opposed to somebody that has $1 million in their savings account.
Clerk Wright.
Yeah, I appreciate Treasurer Ferrari's work on this, but I think going forward for us as a board, if we had the options of where we could put the money versus pre-prepared recommendation, it might suit this board better to maybe make a decision that we feel is comfortable with us as a whole.
I agree.
Trustee Noel, do you have any comments?
I agree with the other trustees in their position.
Okay. Treasurer Ferrari?
I'd like to hear from Brian, because I'd asked him and then we wanted to maybe state his opinion on it.
Am I recognized?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening. Brian Cloutier, Director, Oxford Public Library. I just want to share with you that Treasurer Ferrari did approach me on this project. The library, he asked me if we had any projects that might benefit from monies for ADA compliance or ADA improvements. The bond had included a number of things, but in the underlying components of the bond, there were improvements that were supposed to be made to the front doors of the building. We do have doors that are 20, well, they're as old as the building, and the equipment, quite honestly, that opens and closes the doors are as old as the building as well. We have spent thousands of dollars trying to maintain those. As you can see, to replace them, it's nearly $40,000. I can share with you that this would allow, because our doors right now, especially our second level entry doors, they're very big, heavy doors. And if we can replace them with a lighter weight door that has a better mechanism to be able to help assist our individuals who come in either on a cart, a motorized cart, or a walker, or wheelchairs, or even our older patrons who come in with canes. The doors right now take a long time, because they're older technology, they take a long time to open and they're heavy. And our patrons are standing and waiting for that to happen. And they've become less reliable. That being said, I'm just gonna, you're probably not gonna like what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say it because it needs to be said. I have been your director for 15 years. I've come to this township meeting time after time after time, and I have watched the township rally behind, and I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, but rally behind the fire department and help them financially to undertake projects. I have watched this township board rally behind Parks and Rec and help them financially undertake projects. We have not taken a dime from you. We've never taken a dime from you. And so to be able to help us with this would mean a lot. I understand where you're coming from, and I don't disagree with you at all. But on the flip side of this, we could use your assistance right now, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Brian.
And Supervisor Curtis?
Trustee Payne.
I guess the difference between helping the other two entities and helping the library, Brian, to me, is that these are federal funds.
Well, then take it out of your fund balance and help us.
Come ask us for it out of our
Okay,
fund
I will.
Thank you, Trustee Payne. I look for a motion. Oh, I'm sorry, Clerk Wright.
I don't have a motion yet, but just curiosity, let me see if I can pull it up. There's a sheet showing total grant remaining. Is that above and beyond the 2022 monies?
That is December of 2022 allocation.
I don't know what you're referring to.
Right here, this page right here. So Oxford total grant, what's...
Yeah, that's what they haven't spent yet.
Okay, and is there a reason why it hasn't been spent?
I don't know, I've checked with OSHA, I know they're a little bit behind. They've got quite a process to go through.
Is it earmarked for minor?
Oh, yeah, it's there for minor repair.
Okay, so we'd have 18,000 plus the 21,000.
If the board so chooses.
But you're just not right now asking for the 21,000 to be allocated, whether it's library or something else.
Correct, because that's going to be for a project.
Does this money go away if we don't use it in a certain amount of time?
The county's been harping on them. I'm hoping not. You're technically not supposed to keep it past like 2 or 3 years. Their county's getting on to spend the 19. I think they'll spend that out. With the 20 stuff, they've had a lot of staffing issues at OSHA with everything with COVID and people moving in and out. Hopefully they can get back on track and start it going.
So the answer is no.
Answer is no is what?
That they don't have a deadline.
Oh yeah, they have a deadline. County can recapture that stuff.
Well, we know we can, but he just asked if there's a deadline and you didn't have an answer.
Okay, all right, let's,
Supervisor Curtis?
yes, Trustee Payne, what can I address you with?
Question for you, Joe. So that 18,000, is the need there for the minor?
Yes, if you take a look at Doug's assignments, yes, the need is there.
Okay.
The need is there.
So with that, I would move that the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees formally agrees to allocate its 2022 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, funds in the following manner. $21,897 for mobile home minor repair program for mobile homes within Lake Phillip and Parkhurst that is administered through Oakland County CDBG, and that it's 6,000?
Yep, 6,884.
884 to provide funding for wages, for nutrition assistance, for Oxford's Meals on Wheels program run through the Older Persons Committee in Rochester, and $2,500 to provide funding for Haven's domestic violence prevention programs. Do I have to reverse it?
Keep going.
In the case that CBDG funding comes in less than anticipated, the allocation for the Oxford Public, or for the mobile home repairs,
mobile home minor repair program.
Minor home repair
This will be reduced.
be reduced appropriately. The Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees also authorizes CBDG Coordinator Joseph G. Ferrari to prepare all necessary documents and authorizes Supervisor Jack L. Curtis to sign the 2022 annual CBDG submittal 2022 subrecipient agreement when made available, and the conflict of interest certificates on behalf of the township.
I'll second that one.
This is a very unclear copy.
Thank you. Roll call.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
And Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Vote for the fourth mile project.
Okay. All right, Mr. Roselli, let's talk about the agreement regarding the purchasing conditions of 732 North Oxford Road. In front of us, you see Mr. Roselli came to us with his realtor and the broker, and we found a lot of problems that were created with 732 North Oxford Road back in 2002. There are two non-conforming buildings on the property. The one is a second house where the front bricks are actually on the township easement. The garage in the back is half on the Oxford Township water property. There is no easement. There is a license for ingress and egress for parcel A, which Mr. Roselli bought. And in order to clear this up, we are working with the purchaser of 732 North Oxford Road, Mr. Roselli. Mr. Roselli, tell us what your plan is.
My plan is to follow the agreement, because I know we've seen it, so tear down building 1 and 2, just completely gone. I don't need them. Get them down within 6 months. Make sure the land's clear, keep everything nice and maintained. It's kind of dumpy right now, it wasn't taken care of. Plan to take care of it, make the house nice, and just keep it that way and live in it for at least 7 to 10 years.
And in order to correct the wrongs of the 2002 licensing agreement, this board as being asked to approve $5,000 for land surveying to make an easement for the ingress and egress from area B1 into parcel A. And with Mr. Roselli tearing down the house and tearing down the garage, we bring the property within, we eliminate 3 non-conformances right now, and we eliminate a license agreement that really is terrible. Yes, sir, Treasurer Ferrari.
So 1 and 2 there are going to be gone?
1 and 2 will be torn down.
And the one up front stays?
Correct.
That's the house he bought.
Okay, so I want to make sure I'm clear.
Yep. So, are there any questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I assume, or what coach says never assume, right? Is this all right?
Yes, it is. The attorney in the packet, the attorney has given the Charter Township of Oxford, Oakland County, State of Michigan resolution. It clearly calls out that Mr. Roselli expressed an interest, if he does complete the purchase of 732 North Oxford Road, to demolish the encroaching garage as well as another structure encroaching onto the water tower property. More closely to compliance within current zoning, the township is further willing to convey a strip of its adjacent water tower property in order to that 732 will comply with the minimum lot area for parcel in the R2 zoning district. First off, we have been working on this for 4 months. And, well, how many?
You've been working on it.
I've been working on it.
There's any we involved.
I say we because I don't do anything without the township board, number 1. Number 2, I have identified some things that were done in the past when the water tower was needed. I'm not going to go back and understate anything, but legally our attorney says this is the best solution we can have for this property, working with Mr. Roselli.
I move to approve the resolution supporting the proposed agreement regarding purchaser conditions for 732 North Oxford Road, Charter Township of Oxford, Michigan, as presented. Authorize Supervisor Jack Curtis, Clerk Curtis Wright to carry out the terms of the agreement including authorization of an expenditure up to $5,000 for land surveying services.
Second.
Second for question. I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Treasurer Knoll, or Trustee Knoll. Trustee Charles, you had a question?
No, I thought Mr. Knoll did, but I want to say
I
thank
wanted
you.
to read the motion, so, I'm on board.
Okay.
You wanted to see if we can hear it to the
Are there any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Clerk Wright? Yes. And Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roselli, for cleaning up a big problem for both of us.
Happy to do it.
Thank you, sir.
What do you need from me now, or do you need anything?
We will be in touch with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You know him?
I do not know him.
Mr. Roselli, tell us where you work, sir.
We're in Township Fire Department, full-time firefighter.
Thank you, sir.
Can we revote then?
You're a paramedic, we're taking apps.
Already applied those.
I've been working on that. I'm also a headhunter. Also a recruiter, yes, sir.
Seems like a nice gentleman.
All right, let's get rid of the next one. Item 12D, thank you for sitting here long enough. We have some appointments, reappointments to the Township Board Planning Commission.
I move to this is a planning commission?
Yes.
This is your, could you make them only because you appoint them?
Okay, sure. I move to reappoint Tom Berger and Ashley Ross to the Charter Township of Oxford Planning Commission, and to appoint Robert Turner of the to the Charter Township of Oxford Planning Commission for a 3-year term commencing January 1st, 2022 and expiring December 31st, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion by Curtis, a second by Trustee Noel. Roll call.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Clerk Wright? Yes. Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
And Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Okay, item 12E, Zoning Board of Appeal appointments.
I move to reappoint James Butler, Norris Magelli II, and Todd Walters to the Charter Township of Oxford Zoning Board of Appeals, and to reappoint Sandy Perch and Sarah Racer as alternates to the Charter Township of Oxford Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term commencing January 1, 2022, expiring December 31st, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Noel. Roll, any questions? Yes, sir.
Just a comment, there is a vacancy which will be appointed by the Planning Commission for a representative.
Oh, yes, okay. Well, that's not going to be done at this time.
No, they'll appoint it.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Clerk Wright? Yes. Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
And Supervisor Curtis?
Yes. Item 12S, no has. Treasurer Ferrari, did you want to talk about this?
Yeah, this is our annual no-haz agreement that we have, and this is just taken care of for 2022. So I'll start with the first motion. I move to accept the 2022 North Oakland County Household Hazardous Waste interlocal agreement between Oakland County and the Charter Township of Oxford as presented. Authorize Supervisor Chad Curtis to sign the agreement.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari and a second by Trustee Noel. Any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Clerk Wright? Yes. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
I move that the Charter Township of Oxford shall notify Oakland County that it will not charge a $10 to $15 participation fee per resident. The cost for the participation shall be paid by the Charter Township of Oxford.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Noel. Any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Clerk Wright? Yes.
As for motion number 3, I was the representative. I don't know if somebody else is more interested than I am. I'm not seeing any takers. I move to approve the North Oakland Household Hazardous Waste Consortium resolution as presented. Hereby appoint Joseph G. Ferrari as the official representative for the Charter Township of Oxford and No-Haz Advisory Board for 2022.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Noel. I want to thank Treasurer Ferrari for standing up for this. Any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Okay, item 12H, Oxford and Addison Youth Assistance Appointment. Oh, let me back up, I got a check mark on 12G. 2021 budget amendments. In your board packet are the budget amendments being made for 2021.
So the motion should be 2021 budgets, right?
I moved to, yes, 2021.
I move to approve the recommended 2021 budget amendment for General Fund 101 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $3,491,309. Attached to spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Payne. Any questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Now we'll get to Patricia Miller.
We got a whole bunch more budget amendments.
More to go. I'm sorry.
They're all 2021 too. I apparently was stuck on 2022.
People aren't their normal selves.
Let's go with the microphone.
I move to approve the recommended 2022 budget amendments for 2021 road budget amendments for Road Fund 204 with revenue and expenditures balancing at $90,000 and attached to the spreadsheet as an appendix to the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Payne, a second by Trustee Noel. Are there any questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles?
Yes.
And Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Curtis, what's this figure for fire supposed to be?
It's this,
No.
The sheet that was passed out, $5,415,373.
Yeah.
I move to approve the recommended 2021 budget amendment for the Fire Fund 206 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $5,415,373. Attached to spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Noel. Roll call, please.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
And Trustee Payne?
Yes.
I move to approve the recommended 2021 budget amendment for the Police Contracting Fund 207 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $3,398,851. Attached to spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Noel. Any questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes. I move to approve the recommended 2021 budget amendments for the Telecommunications Fund 239 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $14,762. Attached to spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Payne. Any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
I move to approve the recommended 2021 budget amendment for Building Department Fund 249 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $422,560. Attached to spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Payne. Any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Charles?
Yes.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes.
I move to approve the recommended 2021 budget amendments for Safety Path Fund 297 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $171,572. Attached to spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Payne. Any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Noel?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Trustee Charles?
Yes.
I move to approve the recommended 2021 budget amendment for the Municipal Building Fund, 470. The revenues and expenditures balancing at 46,551. Attached spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Noel. Are there any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Charles.
Yes.
And Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Now I can get to item H, right?
Okay.
Thank you for your help. Item H, Oxford Addison Youth Assistant Appointment, Patricia Miller.
Bueller?
Bueller.
I move to appoint Patricia Bueller to the Oxford Addison Youth Assistance Board of Directors.
Second.
Oh boy, I heard it was like stereo. Motion by Treasurer Ferrari. I'll give this one to Clerk Wright. Second. Are there any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing none. Item I, interest in purchasing MDOT excess property. Board members, working with Treasurer Ferrari, we came upon a piece of property that became of interest to Oxford Township in order to facilitate future safety paths. Treasurer Ferrari and I worked together and talked with the MDOT folks, and we have an interest in purchasing the property. Joe, have they gotten us a price yet?
Not yet, that's going to be coming.
Okay. What we're asking for tonight is to, we are expressing our interest in purchasing the property. We want our board to understand that and encourage us to continue. When we have the price of that excess property, we'd bring that back at that time.
I move that Supervisor Jack Curtis contact the Michigan Department of Transportation MDOT, inform them that the Charter Township of Oxford is interested in purchasing the MDOT property identified as track 1630 Metro-Oakland, an email from Joseph Bonsall dated November 19th, 2021.
Second.
Beat you again, John. Motion by Treasurer Ferrari, second by Clerk Wright. Roll call.
Trustee Noel.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Curtis.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Trustee Charles.
Yes.
Item J, 2022 Oxford Township Board Meeting Schedule. After review of the schedule, I found no conflicts with holidays. I found no conflicts with any major dates in the community. So with that, I look for a motion.
I move to approve the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees 2022 meeting schedule as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Ferrari, a second by Trustee Payne. Any questions? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing none, motion carries. We had no items removed from the consent agenda. Item 14. Item 14 is public comment. Any comment the public would like to make could come up and yell at our fake mics and tell us your comments, please. Seeing none, we'll go into the Board of Trustees comments. We'll start with Trustee Charles this evening.
Should I talk about gypsy moss again?
No.
It's your time to talk about it, Trustee Charles.
Somebody said tonight they didn't know anything about gypsy moss until we talked about it, so we were kind of an educational institution here apparently.
We are.
Our new board member up here. No, we're making progress. Myself and Mr. Wright did a survey, and Brad Jacobson helped me one day as well, and we've been finding fewer infestations in Oxford Township than we found last year, which is good news on several fronts. But just to give you a heads up, I would expect that as we move forward, we'll find it to be roughly 50% of what we found last year. And the assessment, I believe Mr. Wright was turned in today to the
Yes.
NSU extension.
Yes, well, I'll wait till my comment.
No, go from there. We're good. All right, I'm all set.
You're good? Thank
I'm
you,
good.
Trustee Charles. Clerk Wright?
Yes, and to add to that, the maps, the sheets that identified the amounts were turned in yesterday. And today on the screen, you'll see the mapping that was turned in. And this is an area out on Ray Road and Noble Road. That was surveyed by Mr. Higginbotham, so we appreciate his involvement because we didn't have a lot of people to volunteer to do this. This is the other swath here. It's on East Rainer Road at Bar Road. This area was heavily infested last year, but as Trustee Charles indicated, the counts are definitely way down this year. But these are areas that we're going to concentrate to see what acres are needed to actually be sprayed, not only to assist us, but to assist the Township of Addison as well. So that's the plan right now. These are due today. The mapping will be calculated, I guess, in January. They'll know what the acreage is. They'll put it out for bid. And then once they get the bids back, they'll know what the price per acre per spraying will be in May. So that's the plan right now. More information to follow. A couple other items that I do want to share. It has been difficult to stay focused on what we think was important, but now it's really secondary. But we still have to focus on moving forward. Just a thank you to the people that applied for the trustee position. It's really good to see people wanting to serve this community. You know, and unfortunately only one person could be selected. So I cast my vote accordingly, and we'll move forward with that. A couple other things is that the tree cutting for the cemeteries will start the first week in January of 2022 as of right now. The Terminus Tree Service was the company selected, and they will be doing the work. It should take, what, Jack, about a week
and a half,
to clean that up. Yeah, so you'll see a change in the cemetery, but as Jack indicated, we are planning to do some replanting of some of the trees that were lost. Will be taken out. Another thing is that I do have the well report here on our monitoring wells. So if anybody would like to see it, they're welcome to get with me and check it out. So that's pretty much my comments for tonight. So I will just thank everybody for coming out.
I'll go to the next person. Go ahead, Treasurer Ferrari.
Just a couple items. The winter 21 tax bills have been mailed. Periodically, we receive a list of property owners that do not have the principal residence exemption. Review the list to see maybe if they forgot to file the paperwork. This year, we were able to reach 57 Oxford Township Village homeowners and work with them to correct our assessing records and get them the PREs that they were entitled to. We also work with the applicable mortgage companies to make sure any related tax escrows are adjusted downward accordingly. Because of COVID last year, the Logan County Treasurer did not perform tax foreclosure. Each year we review the list and try and contact those property owners on the list, let them know that they're in danger of losing their property. Through our efforts, we were able to get 10 people to make the proper payments to avoid tax foreclosure this year. This is something we monitor daily, right up to the tax sale day, to make sure that no one from our community goes to tax for sale closure without many prior contacts. Another thing too, I want to thank everybody that was involved in assisting with what happened last week. It's very tragic for our community. My thoughts and prayers go out to those 4 families of those children that we lost. It's going to take some time, but hopefully we can come together and regroup and remember those 4 that lost their lives. That's all I got.
Thank you, Joe. Trustee Payne?
I want to welcome Catherine to the board. Congratulations. It was a tough decision. A lot of good candidates. And I want to thank our community for being there. That's it.
Had to do that.
Sorry.
It's all right.
It's
we're going to get through this. Trustee Noel?
Catherine, welcome. Ashley, welcome to the Planning Commission as well. You have been seated 1 month. We'll see what we can do this month. The Tamview residents have left, and I didn't want them to think that the board let them down. I live on Tamview. There are 2 other board members that live within that association as well. I truly think they need to do some homework and find out and understand how SADs work, how the SADs cover the affected areas, what those affected areas might be, and then come back and do the appropriate paperwork to push that SAD through, if that's they're so desire. Again, I'm sincerely condolences to the families. Thank you for the folks that have worked so hard in supporting Oxford.
Okay, me. we've been working on a few things, even though the incident has got me working on a lot of things. Per the attorney, the general settlement for Oxford Township has been filed for the opioid settlement monies allocated through the Janssen Fund. Our community has, through our grants manager, CJ Canacchio, applied, and we are eligible for up to $39,000 in our community. Working with Susan McCullough, our deputy clerk, myself, Raina Edmonds, we have found that with our auditor's help, we have identified approximately $700,000 in monies that were possibly spent from the wrong fund. And within the next month, on January 12th, we will tell you the exact amount that we're moving to the general fund from the building fund. That is a good news story. However, we have a lot of work to do, and we will be getting the precise amount, and it will be on January 12th. Clerk Wright mentioned about the trees being replanted in the cemetery, but I gotta thank you guys. Just like you did Doherty. You don't know how much it meant to hug this guy, to see Lieutenant Patterson, and the hundreds of police officers that came to this community. We had the families of the victims here in the hall. If you've ever seen anything like it in your life, you too would have tears in your eyes. It was absolutely horrendous. Chief Pete, every one of your guys, Matt, you were right there. I don't have to tell you a thing about it. All I know is people just don't know the tragedy that went on. And it was heartfelt. It was terrible. It hurt me to the core. And I'm very proud to know that when we fight for our fire departments, and we fight for our student resource officer, and we fight for additional deputies, I don't need library doors. I need fire department. I need deputies. I'm very proud to say that we as a board have fitted our services with the proper tools, the personnel, and I will continue to do that after watching the incidents of this last week. Thank you very much. I'm finished.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Treasurer Ferrari, second by Trustee Payne. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Hearing none, we're adjourned. Thank you.